I think we should get into the nitty gritty of Thanos and his plan. You want to take that, Diamond?
Wait.
I can take a shot at it, and then you can correct me. Thanos' plan is to achieve harmony through elimination of 50% of the population. I have down here the whole scene with him and Gamora, and how she basically was like, I hate this throne, I hated my life, everything that I hate about myself, you taught me. All that stuff was real good. But he basically talks about like his whole philosophy. The messenger, he's almost like John the Baptist. At the beginning, that opening, we could talk about later. But in
real
this
quick,
scene,
just because you mentioned, I think he thinks he's Jesus.
The messenger?
I thought you were talking about Thanos. My bad.
No, I'm talking about the messenger. And that may carry over, because I mean, if the messenger is John the Baptist, the dude who was battling,
who are you talking about as the messenger?
Strange,
you tell me.
The guy who sort of looks like Voldemort.
You're talking about Ebony Maw, the telekinetic guy who moves shit around with his... Yeah.
I feel like he's a messenger. He's
a spokesperson, sure. Yeah, I'll give you that.
So anyways, as far as Thor is concerned, he says it's a simple calculus, the universe is finite.
It's finite, its resources finite. If life is left unchecked, life will cease to exist.
It needs to be corrected. I'm the only one with the will to act on it. He has this philosophy. He had this happen with Titan, his home planet, but then he also saw his plan in action with Gamora's home planet, where he tells Gamora that the place where she was from and that 50% of that population was slaughtered, the children now have a paradise where their bellies are full and they can be able to sleep soundly.
All right, I'm going to start a new segment. Instead of our regular bullshit lit review, I'm going to call it the plot apologist segment. And there's a whole bunch... I don't know how this happened because this movie just came out.
Right.
But somehow on the internet, there's a whole bunch of people with a whole lot of problems with this movie. And so we can talk about it.
It's like they had the time stone.
It's like they had the time stone. Say it more fake, Diamond.
No.
Anyway, I think one of the main criticisms, not one of the main, one of the criticisms is like, Thanos' plan is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. And I think we can start with that one because you're bringing up his plan.
I don't think his plan is necessarily dumb. I think, because of what we are introduced to what Thanos believes, I think, this is the only way that he sees that this is going to work. Because he has, this, savior complex that he's not willing to, budge on whatsoever. He seems to think that, he has to be the one who saves everybody, and the only way to do it is in this fashion. So I think part of it is, A, he's a sociopath.
What?
And B, he also, he acknowledges, I think, because one of the, things that has come up in terms of Thanos' plan is dumb, on the internet, somehow they figured out how to...
Time stone, you said.
Before the movie came out. But, I've also seen the question of, why didn't he not, just double the resources?
That part.
And I think a big thing that might be mentioned by the Russo brothers on the commentary as well is that Thanos isn't above free will. And that Thanos accepts free will and understands it and understands the concept of it. And I think that's why he feels like he has to do it in this fashion. This is the only way, because he's about permanence. Not only does he have a savior complex, he also is about the permanence of his solution. That, this is something that if he kills half the people now, then people can thrive and then learn from that. Whereas if you just double the resources, you will eventually have the same problem in maybe thousands of years, but you're going to have the same problem again. And, yeah.
I think, I was going to say I thought about this song for a long time, but, I only just saw this movie just now, so obviously it's only just occurred to me. But I think my first thought was that I was thinking about it logically, and I was trying to defend his position logically, and my logical defense was that, if you if you double the resources, then all the people who take all the resources are still there, and they will continue to do something. Like, if people who are rich have most of what exists, they will continue to have it, and the people who are poor will continue to not have it. That's just how that continues. Or if you see it as like people as a cancer, and I'm taking this a little bit from some other comics where Thanos is involved, and not necessarily the movie, but if you see the universe as a living being and people as a cancer, then if you have a cancer, you don't just give it more like flesh to work with, you take the cancer out. And so like that fits like sort of logically with his issue. And if you erase half the population, then everyone who exists is like, we have to figure out a new way to do things, a new way that's sustainable, and all the systems that are in place where the people who have more get more, that gets changed, and the people who have little get little, that changes also. It just reshuffles everything. And I thought that was pretty solid as sort of like a logical viewpoint. But then I was thinking, like immediately after that, because this is all fresh to me, that I don't know why I was pretending that Thanos is a logical person or that he is ruled by reason any more than any of the other characters. He's not a human, but like he's a person. He's ruled by emotion and experience and all this sort of stuff. And it's like he has a plan. He thinks it works. He was going to try it, and they said no. Like his people on Titan said no. And then he saw that they were wrong, so he just thinks he's more right, and that just strengthens his position. So he's now of this opinion that like this is a plan I had, and it's got to work. And also like he's had I don't even know how long to test that on other planets, and like Thomas said, like he's seen it work. So he's just like, I'm gonna just continue this. This works. This is good. This is doing a good job, and it's more of a emotional rationalization than a logic-based reasoning system. And I kind of feel like that's sufficient because we as people don't need our reasons to be logical. We pretend we do, but it's more about like what makes sense to us, and we just have to believe it makes sense to him more than it being absolutely airtight.
So you said Thanos isn't a human, and Loki said you'll never be a god. What is Thanos?
I only said he's not a human because like I was about to say he's a human and he thinks like people, but like he's not a earthling. He's a person in that like he is bound by the same sort of like emotional constraints that we as people have. Like we are ruled in some cases by our emotions, and a lot of times we justify things, like we want to do a thing and we justify it based on how we feel, not necessarily because it's logical. In that sense, he's human. That's what I was getting at. I
get the emotional aspect of it. I meant more literal. Like, so Thor's a god. Loki is not a witch.
Thanos is not a god, but like
is he an alien?
He's an alien. He's absolutely an alien. He's a real strong alien. He's an alien who wears a like chain that says "I'm bad fucking news." That's who he is. He's a bad dude. And apparently there's no other aliens like him because they all died, and so he's real strong and powerful. But he's an alien, but also in these movies, Thor is an alien who is seen as a god, so like he's not that much different than Thor. He's what Thor is, and Thor's only a god because people believe he's a god.
What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in
I was just saying, it's a little weird. Like, if you were looking at it in comics, Thanos is a super powerful alien, but not a god. But in the movies, there's no difference. So it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think one thing, this doesn't go with, like, the plot stuff, but I think it's an interesting thing that they added in this movie is that they open with the Loki saying, "You'll never be a god," and then the last words spoken in the movie are Cap saying, "Oh God."
Really? I didn't even catch that. Good job.
Wow.
You know what? It's funny because I did not care about at all what Cap said at the end of that movie, but that shot they have at the end of that movie where, like, obviously I'd had in my head that like, hey, all the people who are still alive are the original Avengers. Even if Iron Man's on another planet. But one of the last shots we see is a shot with Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hulk, and two stand-ins for Iron Man. You've got Hulk in the Iron Man armor and War Machine. So, well, also you have Rocket Raccoon in there, but you get like a shot that's as close as you can get for people on Earth who are just the original Avengers, and that's what I focus on. I didn't hear what Cap said. I didn't hear "Oh God."
Yeah. I was amazed that I heard "Oh God." It was like I had a time stone, got to watch it again, and paid attention to the fact that was the last line of the movie.
How can we sell these time stones?
That can't be the last line of the movie.
The last line is "Mother," but that's after the credits. But like, is that after the movie's over?
Okay, see, that's where my mind
went. That's the last line of the movie.
When does the movie end, Diamond?
Mid credits and end credits.
Okay,
"Oh God."
got you.
Well, wait. Did we come to any sort of conclusion on like if Thanos' plan is bullshit or not, or what's our like last statement?
I personally think that it's what he believes, and so to him it's not bullshit, so it works for the plot.
That's basically where I fall.
And Diamond mentioned what my only thing was. I didn't know if there was a stone that could be able to double the food so that it is enough.
Well, I think the reality stone would do. I think he had the ability to double the food. I just don't think that's what he believed in,
And that was another thing that was brought up on the internet is why didn't he just use the reality stone to change reality? And I think it goes along with the fact that like Thanos values permanence. And so that would have been only a short-term answer to everything.
Even more than that, though, like I feel like you're talking about permanence and short-term and long-term. Like just I don't know if the word is like practically or physically. This is all fiction. This is all made up. But like I think what they showed in the movie, the reality stone only works temporarily. Not even like it's a short-term solution. It only works while it's there. Like when they're on nowhere and Thanos does some shit with the reality stone, as soon as he leaves it goes back to normal. I think there's something about all the stones together that makes whatever he does stay. And like I don't think he could do it with just the reality. So he needed all of them. That's kind of the thing. He wants all of them to change reality. But I ultimately I think sort of what you said, like we don't have to think his plan makes sense or is a perfect plan. We just have to believe that he believes it. We have to understand why he thinks it's right and follow him on that, even if we disagree. Because like I don't have to think I gotta kill everyone. I mean I don't. I mean maybe you guys.